Is it impressive? He was just in junior hockey last year, and
Yeah.
now he's in the Western Conference Final and seems to be handling everything very well.
Yeah, crazy impressive. Both those kids. Like I said, I think this is my 16th year in the league, and I don't remember one young guy that age making the impact both these guys have made at this time of year. And I'm stressing this time of year. It's one thing to jump into the regular season with 32 teams and the level of play, but you're jumping into some rare air here. These are the best teams left standing. There's no room, there's no time, there's no weaknesses, really in any of these groups that are left. And I would put Vegas and Colorado in that category too, the two teams we just went through. And both kids have been, effective every night. And not just on the scoreboard, all kinds of detail and defensive conscience to their game. They just play the right way.
Third row on the right, Eric.
Did it take you a lot of years in this league to understand the importance of being calm in the face of adversity, or does it take a special group like this one for you to be able to be calm
Yeah.
in the face of adversity?
I think it's a good question. I think it's a little bit of both. I think for sure experience teaches you that, and there's no doubt about that. And also your leadership group, really, allows you to do that if you've got a good group, because that's being handled. The right messaging is being done, and it's being done by the important guys in the room. The more important guys than even the coach, and so that allows you to do that.
Back right.
Hey, Pete, just a question about Jake Ottinger and his ability, no matter the score or situation, to find a way to reset and be able to get to his best hockey to help the team find their footing and get to their best hockey.
Yeah, really unflappable. And that's really been, probably the most impressive part for me has been his response at key times, last year's playoffs, this year's playoffs, either to our team being off for a night or, him being a little bit off. The response has always been immediate, and it's always been world class. And I think, for me, that's a sign of greatness at that position, because the guys that allow, one bad game to bleed into multiple bad games, you're sitting at home this time of year if that happens.
Second row on the left, Leah.
Hey, Pete. I believe both Sam Steel and Alexander Petrovic are from right around this area. What is that moment like when a player, especially in the playoffs, gets to come home and play in front of their home crowd?
Well, it's really special. And, I think, especially for Petrovic, and I'm not going to say it's less special for Sam Steel. I think it's really special for Sam. And he deserves it. He's had a great year for us. But for Petrovic, who, probably didn't see this coming, had spent the entire year in the American League, has been a veteran guy that probably thought that his window had closed. And all of a sudden you're playing in the conference finals and you're playing in your hometown. I don't think it gets better than that. And he's at a point in his career where I'm sure he appreciates it a lot more than when he was 22 or 23.
Third row on the left, Mark.
Pete, you mentioned 6 years in the league. You've had a lot of jobs. How do you evolve as a coach from job to job, with you from job to job?
Well, there's always things you learn. Both about the groups you're coaching with, but I think also the coaches that you coach with on the different stops. I was very fortunate in Florida when I came into the league. There was a veteran, Mike Kitchen, that was a holdover from the previous staff that was invaluable for me coming in. And then my second job, I inherited Larry Robinson and Adam Oates, who Lou had kept, you know, and on and on. I mean, you know, I think every staff you work with, you get better as a coach, you know, being around people like that. And, you know, I've got a long list of guys I've worked with, and that doesn't even include the Hockey Canada experiences, World Championships, you know, working with Ken Hitchcock and Dave Tippett and Craig McTavish, you know, so just, I think that's probably the biggest thing is being around different people, different ideas, and taking the things that you like and making them your own.
Fourth row on the right, Elliott.
Yeah, like,
Hey, Peter, just a little bit more on Ottinger. Did you ever worry about him this year? And what point in the season did you say he's back what we expect?
yeah. Yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said there wasn't some concern at one point in the year. I'm trying to remember when. You know, he had got himself in a little bit of a funk, and he's such a mature, unflappable kid. You know, you saw a little bit of vulnerability, not much, but a little bit. But I always took comfort in knowing, you know, that he had a foundation there that he could rely on, that his character is second to none, his leadership second to none, that he was gonna get back there. But, you know, I think in his words, it was probably the toughest point in his career at one point this year, you know, battling through some things. So, you know, but full marks, he never changed his attitude and kept working. And, you know, there was always an inner confidence within him, despite being a little vulnerable, that he would get it back. And, you know, that gave me comfort.
Second row on the right, Andrew.
Peter Vander Kane was asked earlier about kind of the lack of scrums in this series, and he said that was a strategy of lulling that you and your team would do, both to avoid penalties and keep the temperature a little low. Just wonder your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're not playing any different than we have all year, and the standard of the refereeing is the same as we've had all year. You know, we're the least or second least penalized team over an 82-game schedule with 32 teams in the league, and the least penalized in the playoffs. So, you know, that's not our game. We play hard, we play heavy, we defend hard, but we play whistle to whistle, and, you know, that's what we're continuing to do.
We'll take two more. Center left, Sean.
Sean?
Hey, Pete, given your team going to the Western Conference Final last year and your first year with them and coming back here now, I wonder if there's growth that stands out to you between that point last year and now.
For sure there's growth. I mean, we're a better team than we were last year in the Western Conference Final. We're a deeper team, you know, and that's Jim Nill going out in the summer and signing depth and going at the trade deadline and adding guys. You know, so I think I mentioned this in the Vegas series. I felt last year in the Western Conference Finals, when we got to this point, we were kind of hoping that everything lined up and we could win. You know, I feel like this year we feel like we should win.
Last one, Leah.
Hey, Pete. Yesterday, Jason Robertson said that third goal that he scored was something he learned from Jeff Reese.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get your thoughts on your goalie coach teaching your goal scorers some things.
Yeah, Reeser does a lot of work behind the scenes with those guys, you know, just on tendencies and scouting reports and things. And you know, Robo, Matt Duchesne in particular are two guys that spend a lot of time, you know, kind of looking at those reports and spending time with Jeff. So, yeah, those they talk the same language, you know, and I think Robo's a very analytical player, you know, as far as his scoring goes, and he sees the game differently than most people, including myself. So, it's been a good match.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
Okay, thank you.